As introduced, my name's Dustin Strydom, and I'm the Director of Automation Services at a company called OpenBox. Now, I'm going to try something slightly different today. I'm going to try not to bore you with a slideshow or a presentation. And hopefully, I wonder if I need to just click this again. Let's give it a go. There we go. I'm going to play a video in the background. And this video is not for you to watch. This is just to run in the background so that I can get a sense as how quickly my 10 minutes are going to run out. So please, whatever you do, don't pay attention to the video. Maybe wishful thinking, but we're going to see how that goes. So anyway, what do we do at OpenBox? We build software robots that can take people's jobs. Now, I often get some very interesting and mixed reactions to this statement. Some people are shocked. Some people are a little bit appalled. Other people are actually quite excited about this prospect, because that potentially means they don't have to work. But these are all very good responses, and the reason they are is because we're facing a very weighty topic, and that topic is technology going to replace us all? Right? Now, this is what people are calling this is the start of the fourth industrial revolution. Right? Now, we've been through three previous industrial revolutions, and at each of those revolutions, we've asked a similar question. What jobs are going to be displaced by this revolution, and how are we going to react to that? And there's no difference in that sentiment. However, there's a big difference in that for the first time in our existence, we're seeing a potential future where artificial intelligence could potentially do everything that we can do. Right? And that's a big thing, and it is a major difference. But it's not here yet. Right? So at the moment, we're just theorizing how that could look. So let's talk about what is here today. And that's getting back to my statement. We develop software robots that can take people's jobs. Right? And what I mean by that is technology that exists today that cannot displace people, but the type of jobs that form part of our occupation, which are rules-based, manual, repetitive types of tasks, the types of tasks where we're not really using our brains, and the types of things that software robots are actually incredibly good at doing and enable us to get time back in our days. Right? And that's what I'm talking about. So I'm not naive enough to stand here and say that there's no risk of displacement, because there are a lot of people that perform their entire jobs involving just rules-based, repetitive, and manual tasks. And there is a real risk of those people being displaced in a very similar way to the way jobs were displaced in the previous three industrial revolutions. And that is going to happen. Right? But the faster that displacement takes place, the faster we can realize how those people's jobs need to evolve to form part of occupations of the future. Right? But the part of this that I'm more excited about is really looking at you and I, everyone sitting in this room. I can guarantee you perform tasks on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that are manual, rules-based. You're just following that set of rules. You're performing a set of actions purely by rote and not using your brain, right? So imagine a scenario where you have a revenue-generating employee, right? And that person is spending 10, 20, maybe 30% of their day, every single day, performing manual, repetitive work. Now, if you could implement software or software robots that can automate those tasks and give 30% of a revenue-generating employee's time back, imagine the value you can create across your organization with that type of tool. Right? So that's the fascinating thing for me. It can take people's jobs, but it can take pieces of people's jobs that they're not very good at to allow them to do things that they are very good at and is of more value to their organization. Right, so at OpenBox, what we're doing is we're trying to make it as easy as possible for real estate organizations to adopt software robots and adopt a virtual workforce, right? Now, we consider ourselves as real estate experts. We've been working in the real estate space for about 17 years. We are experts in real estate processes and how technology can influence those processes, and we're experts in real estate systems, so how software and technology can interact with the systems that we're all familiar with that underpin the jobs that we do today. Right, so how are we making it easier? Well, what we're doing is we're introducing a concept called robots as a service. And what that means is we allow our clients to purchase a portion of a software robot's time. right? So this means that they don't have to invest in software robot licenses, they don't have to make extensive investments in building out a team of people to develop those software robots, and they don't have to worry about any of the maintenance and management around that. We do that all for them, and we come in with a solution and roll that out as part of a software robot's time. Right, so I want to talk about some practical examples then as to what we're doing with some of our clients. Now, the important thing to recognize here is this is not a point solution that solves just one small little pain point in your organization. This is relevant to your entire organization. As I mentioned, if you all think about the tasks that you do on a daily basis, right, invariably you will be able to think of many tasks that are rules-based, repetitive, and manual. Right, so this is relevant to, my video seems to have stopped. But anyway, we'll keep going. So this is relevant to every aspect of every business, right? And an example that I'd like to share is one with one of our largest automation clients, which is Cushman & Wakefield, right? So they've embraced automation, and they've embraced that this can have an impact across their entire business. So what we're doing is we're working on a program with them whereby we essentially have been given the keys to all departments within their business to identify areas that we can deploy software robots to effect change. Now, they have very aggressive targets that they're looking to unlock from a value perspective across the business. So we're working with divisions like asset services, global occupier services, valuations, leasing, capital markets, marketing and research, just to name a few. And what I'm trying to illustrate here is that this has the ability to not only solve one small little pain point that you have, but it actually has the ability to transform your business and actually impact the value of your business across the board. Then to take it down to a slightly more practical example, another one of our clients, Altus Group. So Altus Group, as you know, is the owner of Argus Enterprise, a valuation software tool. But what they also do is they provide valuation services, so third-party valuation services to, I think, 60 of the 70 largest funds in North America. And if you think of a valuation consultant, this is a great example because where they add value isn't actually affecting the valuation. But the drawback of that is there are a number of manual steps in the process before that valuation consultant has the ability to affect that valuation. So that means they have to receive tenancy schedules from a fund in a certain format, income and expense statements and CapEx statements, and they have to pull all of the information out of that report. They have to log into a system like Argus Enterprise and pull the prior quarter data and build out detailed line-by-line comparison reports, which can be up to thousands of lines. Now, traditionally, that process would take a valuation consultant up to 4 weeks just to get a comparison report together so that they can start making sense of it and affecting a valuation, right? So what we did is we deployed a software robot to do all of those tasks for them. And essentially, that 4-week period turned into a 35-hour period. And because software robots can work 24 hours a day, that's within a period of 2 business days. Right, so you can imagine that time we've given back to that valuation consultant, what they're able to do with that time and how that value can translate to that organization. Right, so I'm not sure how much time I have left, but I was hoping the video would still be running, and I was going to turn your attention to it now that it's no longer in play. You definitely weren't paying attention to it. But in the beginning, if you were, I think you probably realized that it was a software robot getting on with its work in the background, very much like the way it would happen in an organization, right? But if it was still playing, and over a sort of 10 to 15 minute period, which is kind of the period that we had here today, I wanted to illustrate what that impact actually is. So the work that software robot would have been doing while I was talking is the equivalent of up to almost an entire day of a human being performing similar types of tasks, right? So that just gives you an idea of the impact, right? This technology exists today. Software robots that can take people's jobs that are rules-based, repetitive, and manual, and give them time back, right? So what I want you to take away from this is this technology is not intended to be a displacer. This technology is intended to be an enabler to drive major value to real estate organizations. Thanks very much.